Welcome to the Internet Podcast, guys. Thank you for being here. Today we're playing a game called Apor. It's $1 and it was cheap and it was fast to download. That's the only reason why we're playing it.
And it's really good.
It's really good. It's really super good. Not actually. It's actually not a good game at all. First things first, we got our big topics headed into this podcast. This is, first things first, this is the 14th podcast. That means absolutely nothing. That's not an important number at all. I just wanted to say that.
20th, though. You guarantee something important will happen.
Oh, good point. What happens on the 20th? Stays on the 20th, guys. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, we got a big topic this week to start off with. That big topic is going to be the Willy Wonka Glasgow incident. Real quick, I'm going to glaze over it, even if you will.
That's what I was thinking.
And basically what it is that there was a Willy Wonka festival that was basically entirely designed by an AI. Why do we know that it's designed by an AI? It was freaking obvious is why. Basically, it was the worst thing ever. It was $50, and it was just absolutely terrible, bro. So, they charged you $50 to literally just watch a scary Phantom of the Opera-looking guy scare your children. That's all it was. That's basically it in a nutshell. Yeah, it was the worst thing that I've seen recently. And honestly, I just feel bad for everybody that was involved in that. That's just tough, man. More than anything else, it's just tough for the people involved in that.
It was expensive. And it was the thing is, it was advertised as like an amazing experience, and it was cool. Like the advertisement made it look cool, and then it was just like a poster. It was just like literally just a poster of like the, I don't know, like the candy, like.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Well,
like
one of the
areas and like. Yeah.
One of the worst parts was they were like advertised to get like chocolate and candy and a bunch of stuff like that. They got a single jelly bean and a half-drinking cup of limeade. That was what they got at the end of the trip, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it was actually absurd that even was allowed to happen. The only unfortunate thing is, though, in this is that like obviously everybody was refunded on the consumer side, but on the acting side, those people just are out of job, and they got publicly humiliated. So I just think it sucks for them, like
it's
hardcore.
kind of partially their fault too.
Well,
I think they were in
to
on
a
it. Like, I don't think
degree, but not at the same time, because most of them have come out and said that they did not want to do it when they actually got there, and they weren't given the script until they got there. Because it's just like supposed to be like a little kids thing.
Aww. But no, yeah, it's a very messed up situation. But everyone's getting reimbursed, so you know.
Except the actors, which
that's
sucks.
True.
That's the biggest thing that sucks.
Was it the actors not the same people that put it on? Like they hired people for it?
Yeah, no, they hired people, so they're entirely unrelated to the actual studio.
It was all a money pull. It was all a crappy, like a very crappy money pull. To be honest. So.
But yeah, anyways, I think we've talked enough about that. A lot of people yap about that for a very long time on the internet right now. So we don't need to speak on that too much more. The next thing I want to talk about is a new drama that came out. And there might honestly be some more stuff that comes out after today. But as for right now, there's a Jynxi and Sneako beef. Jynxi has yet to make any type of public acknowledgement of this beef. And it's mainly just on the Sneako end. So if you don't know, Jynxi recently started a podcast. He started out with two bangers. He had Queso on the stream and Moist Critical on the stream. And I watched both of them. They're absolutely amazing. The podcast is really well produced. It looks like something that Jynxi actually spent a lot of time on. So he had Sneako on. Sneako, big guy, big old like controversial streamer. It was right up Jynxi's alley. But according to Sneako, Jynxi came at him, like literally just came at him, and said just a bunch of like mean stuff, I guess, and like was disagreeing with him. And so like Sneako was like, oh, just upload the podcast, and then Jynxi hasn't uploaded it yet or something. And I mean, honestly, after this drama, I wouldn't want to upload it anymore, bro.
Yeah.
Low key. I mean, even if I was going to upload it, like, that's kind of a messed up thing to do, is go on your stream and start talking bad about me, like, even before everything else. Me personally, I didn't, like, I'm not the one that's even involved in this, and I wouldn't want to watch that or post it anymore, bro. Just because it's supporting that trash, bro. Like, and I don't actually think that Sneako has only bad takes. Like, I think that he's got a couple good takes, you know? I just think that in this scenario, it was just such a dumb thing to do, is go live and, like, say that somebody is a sellout for just not posting something yet. And obviously, we may need to see what Jynxi ends up saying later on. Because obviously, he could just, like, literally not have released it and tried to bait him into a bunch of stuff. But I personally don't see Jynxi doing that. Jynxi is, like, known for being a little bit of controversial. Like he doesn't just say things that are not... Like, he says things that are very out of the normal. Like, it's not like a...
Or wouldn't be traditionally considered, like, okay to say.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just don't see Jynxi doing it at this level. Dude, I got third-partied so hard there, man. Stolen kill and... Ape War is making me mad, dude. I'm gonna rage quit. Anyways, but yeah. I think that's messed up on Sneako's side so far. We gotta see Jynxi's apology come out and see what happens with that. Because not apology, but like side of the story. But even without his side of the story so far, I'm honestly just supporting him.
Why would you? I mean, yeah, well, who's gonna support Sneako? Everyone loves Jynxi. No one loves Sneako. Well, you don't even have to love Jynxi to not like Sneako. I don't see very many people who are in support of Sneako for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. He's got some takes that a lot of people won't agree with.
Well, the thing is about his points, too, is that even it doesn't matter if they're right or wrong, is that he will stand behind them. And I'm not saying that they're wrong points, but or if the right points, but he'll stand behind them and he'll give absolutely no backing to them. Like, I've seen his evidence for, like, all sorts of stuff for what he believes in. Like, this is why I believe this, is why I believe this. Someone will just prove... I've seen people prove him wrong in, like, 5 seconds. I mean, he's not intelligent in the slightest. I think he just has an ego.
I think he definitely has an ego, and if he delivered his points in a fair way, he would honestly have a lot more supporters.
Oh, yeah.
With that being said, though, low-key, I think most people should support Jynxi in this situation so far, even without his apology yet. And I hope that Sneako doesn't get a really short end of the stick here. I mean, Jynxi is literally live to 85,000 people right now. He could literally have just ruined his fan base. And from what I've seen from his chat, they literally, like, I looked at his kick chat while he made this, like, whole hate thing. And it's a video from his kick stream. And all over the stream, it literally says things like, dox him, leak his address, tell everybody his address. And it's like people that are just like absolute degenerates that are in his chat. So like he's going to lose his only fan base that actually cares. No, it's Sneako. Sneako's chat all says dox him, leak his address, jump him, like literally do something violent.
Dude, because that's what Sneako's fan base is, bro.
Yeah, like, it's just so trash, man. It's just so trash. I hate that.
He's a horrible influence. I don't think he's a good person to like. And yeah, no, yeah, it's like you said. It's like I don't even need to hear what Jynxi says or anything like that to know he's probably in the right.
Honestly, yeah. I don't know what to say, but I mean, off that situation, I think there's one more thing that I want to talk about in more streamer news. Seems like there's been a lot of streamer news this week, low-key. Hasanabi, if you don't know who it is, I might be saying that wrong. I think it's Hasanabi. I took a space where I shouldn't have taken a space. But he basically was ridiculed recently because he said that streaming, though it's not physically labor hard, it sucks the soul out of you, and is in essence said that it was harder than a 9-to-5 job.
Wow. Which
I think is kind of ridiculous, and I also think is very much so coming from a standpoint of, like, do you even like streaming? Like, why do you stream if you think it's that much harder than a 9-to-5? That's what I always have to defend that type of stuff, is like literally, you want to say, oh, streaming is harder than this, streaming is harder than that. Okay, then why don't you just go do another job? No one's forcing you to stream. It's the most annoying thing to me because I'm small. I'm small potatoes compared to him, and like I don't have nearly the audience of him, but I'd love to have the audience of him. You know?
I feel like it's hard until you get to the level he's at too. Is the thing.
Yeah, too.
I mean,
yeah,
you
that's
could
what I
say,
was saying.
like,
His come up was hard, but not currently. There's no way.
Right. That's like kind of the glory. Like that's like the glorious part about like that's what many streamers, I guess like small streamers want more than anything. And I think that's kind of insane for him to say. Because it's blatantly wrong. It's like the same thing with celebrities. We'll talk about how horrible their lives are.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
it's
okay.
It's just like, yeah, okay, man. Like, you're like you can say like you had trials you had to endure, right? And that's obviously reasonable because a lot of people fought hard to get where they got to. But to be like, yeah, man, my life's so hard. I get to play video games for 8 hours a day, and
literally,
you know,
and talk about politics. He talks about politics, bro. That's one of the easiest things to talk about, and you can just farm content on it too. You can farm content on it as well. He chooses what his
topics are. Oh yeah, you can. Yeah,
I mean, you can do also. That's what most politics
farming
talking
hate and fear mongering, and it's really like really sad is what it is. And honestly, he's acting like it's a big trial. It's the I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's the easiest thing in the world, because I'm sure he gets tired. All people do, but like, well, he said absurd.
His main point was that it's soul sucking. He said after 8 hours of being like literally just a dance monkey, you know, for like that long period of time, it sucks because you're drained. You could work probably physical labor after that, but you are drained. And I understand what he's saying, and I understand that it is actually hard to be a streamer sometimes. It is hard. But comparing it to 9-to-5 jobs is just never going to be a healthy mindset. Because ultimately you're doing something that you love, where most people with a 9-to-5 job are not doing something that they particularly love. They just like it, and it puts money on and food on the table for their family, you know?
100%.
Which sucks, because he gets to do a job that's genuinely fun, that lots of people would trade their 9-to-5 for at any point. I'm not gonna play like it's not at least a hard job. It is definitely a hard job, but it is hard in a different way, and comparing it is just messed up.
Well, I don't know, like, okay, listen, the thing about a job is that I think a lot of times we forget that it is a job, that it is gonna have some sort of, like, you know, even a job that you enjoy and a job that you love, it's not always gonna be fun time, do what you want, right? We're working, and so I think to just complain about that at all is pretty. I mean, you have a pretty good jump. You don't have to love every second of it. I'm not saying that he has to, like, and it is definitely tiring. But again, I mean, comparing it to a 9-to-5, comparing it to whatever, it's
comparing
like, okay,
things
bro, like,
is just never healthy, bro. Comparing things in general is never healthy. It's like trauma comparing, literally. Job comparing is almost the same as trauma comparing in my book. Because it's talking about something that you don't necessarily love to do,
and that control over it always.
And you normally don't have control over it. He definitely does, but he could quit tomorrow and still be relevant and still live a good life.
And rich, and yeah, 100%. He could. Well, with what he has right now, he could kind of choose what he wants to do for the rest of his life. If you think about it. If he didn't want to stream, he has the money to bring himself to the point of getting another job, right?
Literally. He could just invest in something right now and probably do business instead for the rest of his life.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. He could definitely do that. So just saying that your job is hard and woe me is just such a terrible mindset to have. And ultimately, I don't hate Hasanabi. I think that he kind of like corrected himself to a degree after, and I think that a lot of his friends kind of fact-checked him on that. But ultimately, I think that was a really bad take by him in that moment. But ultimately, he does say things that are purposefully bad sometimes. Like, literally, he said, I will say things that are, like, purposefully, like, controversial. But, like, I mean, this is not the first thing that he did. Like, I'm pretty sure he was talking something about how... I can't remember what it was. He was comparing something that was very clearly not the same at all to, a literal terrorist attack. What is that? Sorry, my parents are doing something upstairs.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, he was comparing like something like very. I can't remember what it was, so I don't want to comment on it actually, because I don't want to say it incorrectly.
Oh, that's understandable. Do you want me to create a new room for this?
I'm making one.
Bet. Will you change the map?
Mm-hmm.
Bet. But yeah, I agree. Nuckwood, do you have anything to add on that?
About the streaming stuff?
Yeah, Hassan, specifically.
No, I don't. I've already it's already been said. What I have the same opinion that most everyone else does. I think it's easy. So
yeah, I wouldn't say it's easy. I think easy is a
what streaming.
Yeah.
It is easy for a job, but it's a job. When
Well,
you get to his level.
I think the biggest thing is if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. But you can't compare it to another job is the biggest thing. You know?
I'm not saying it's like easy.
No. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I was just saying that it was a poor choice of words.
Other jobs I've had is probably the most safe, easiest job you can have. So.
In terms of a career, like when you're in that state where it is already a career, I think then it becomes definitely easy.
Easier for sure.
In most jobs, in the scope of most jobs.
Is that one of you guys?
I don't know who Gooch Humper is. No.
What's the
okay?
It's Brody's World, and the past is poop.
That's literally the name too. But anyways, yeah, I think that streaming, yeah, I think we've kind of said everything we need to say on that. With that being said, I think we could go over some recent things that also happened, which is, what was it? Crap. Helldivers 2 was a big game that released last week. I know everybody was playing it. We were planning on playing it this stream actually, but I want to talk about a week out from Helldivers. Is it just all hype? Is it going to continue to grow? Is it going to just stall out?
No, it's a very fun game. I don't think it's gonna stall out.
I agree. It's definitely a fun game.
How much can that hold it together though?
Yeah, for sure. That's what I was thinking.
The thing is that like our generation of game, like, or not? I guess it's not our generation really. It's this generation, the newest. And I guess that includes us in some sort of scope, but it's so short attention span, dude. So short. Think about how many games have how many games have come out, like major games that people have been waiting for, or like barely really hyped up high numbers when they released in the last few years, and that just didn't stick around. I mean, I can name several. There was like Splitgate, the finals. Splitgate, the finals, Power World.
Rumbleverse.
Obviously, we're gonna.
I was talking about Rumbleverse recently.
I would say the finals still has a player base.
The finals has stuck more than most.
But even still, I mean, it stuck, but it didn't stick at the same time.
There's a few games that come and go that just sort of happens with. It's been happening. That's been a thing in gaming for a long time, where a game will like be super popular, and then after a few years, it's not it's
not even after a few years, but it's gotten to the point where like a game that is literally not that this is a perfect judge of popularity, but a game that is #1 on Twitch can go from #1 to not even on the top 30 within 2 weeks, and we've seen that time and time again.
Regular.
It's extremely regular.
I would use Twitch stats when other sites weren't around. I don't really go by games popularity based on Twitch stats. I go on games popularity based on the player base. And like games like Helldivers 2, like I was literally just on there today. There's over like 300,000 people on one planet, let alone given how many planets there are in that game right now.
Right,
available.
but that only
let's compare that to when it opened up 800,000. It's already halved in like a week or two.
Yeah, but you gotta understand. I meant like there's several planets that have.
No. I realize
the numbers. That's just off the top of my head.
I saw bigger
numbers. Did you see 300,000?
Yeah, there's 300,000 people on the ice planet in the bug sector, and then there's like 600. There's like 600,000 playing like 2 days ago when I
think Helldivers isn't as good of an example. I think Helldivers is still holding up well enough. Obviously, like probably not as big as when it first released, just because that's how games work. But I think that What? I think that
What?
most of these games, like we can check back in 2 weeks. Garrett, maybe not 2 weeks. Let's say a month. Check back in the podcast in a month. No one like Helldivers is not going to be a major talking point like it is right now, like it has been for the last week, and that's how all these games happen. Even I mean, the finals, it was big. It still has its like I'm not going to say it's a dead game. It's not a dead game.
No, it's definitely not a dead game. But the thing is it's like it's become
relatively small.
I mean, okay, let's take another example. The Lego Fortnite, which is a game within a game, was the biggest thing. It had more concurrence than Battle Royale and Zero Builds combined on day of release. It was, and you can actively see player counts. During OG is crazy. So if you look at that, and we see that, and we say, oh, okay, well, okay, that game had like 1.2 million. And now, if you look at it, it doesn't even scratch the surface. It's like 30,000, if that sometimes, which is absurd.
The thing about Lego Fortnite is, you know, it was kind of cool, but it didn't have anything that, you know, made people stick around. The thing with, like,
I think that's what a lot of games
finals
have.
is that there's like new and unique things that make that game stand out that a lot of games that come out nowadays don't have. Like the last game I can think of that's new and came out that has like what Helldivers is impacting right now is Overwatch, and Overwatch is kind of dead.
So you're just that's a good point for what we're saying though.
I want to say something though. There's a couple things I wanted to mention. Is that Nuckwit? The thing is that you're right. These games are amazing. There's nothing wrong with the games themselves. The games are created really well. They offer many things. It's that we have such short attention spans. The audience right now in gaming has such short attention spans that they get tired, and I think it has something to do with like everything, like with many things like TikTok becoming more popular. Our attention spans are so short, and it's been fostered that way because of what the content we've been given. And so, you know, now people are divvying up games, playing new ones, and I think that it also has something to do with. So you were like saying that this has always happened, and that's true. But the problem is that there were always really good AAA titles that stayed relevant during those times, and there's no really huge AAA titles that are staying relevant right now.
No, there really isn't.
Like, there's nothing that are really taking the world by storm, quite like it had been 10 years ago.
Well, I think ultimately what people do now is they freaking just go back to their basics, which is Call of Duty, Fortnite, or Minecraft. That's what everybody goes back to eventually.
I wouldn't even.
No matter how great things are.
Games player-based, like Hank, even like so hard.
I mean, the thing that sucks though is that I know people who still buy Call of Duty every year, and I know people who buy FIFA and like Madden every year, and NBA. Those games just have a staying power that these new games with gimmicks just don't have.
Okay. I have people that also do that, and they stop playing those games within the first month. I've seen people. I still have.
So that's even further into our point
like
then.
Finals, they're playing Helldivers right now.
So even AAA titles like that.
What's the question again? What were we debating right now?
We're just talking about the staying power of games and how it isn't what it used to be.
No, it isn't what it used to be.
Okay. Do you agree that it's not as what it used to be?
I didn't know what the hell we were talking about. You guys were talking about the player counts, and I was like,
well, yeah,
that's an important thing to look at when we're looking at that.
Yeah, but
that's the most important thing to look at.
Every time a game comes out, the player-based windows. So and it's too soon for this to debate that right now. We gotta wait to see. It's not really. I don't think we're not gonna.
Well, we've already seen it drop off. It's definitely less hyped than it was currently. That's why we're playing Ape War instead of Helldivers, and that's why Twitch.
We're playing it
because Nuggets did it, or because Cyril's didn't download it. Yeah, I know. Yeah. That was just a joke.
But it was funny to throw it in your plane, right?
No, but anyways, like Helldivers is already. Again, Twitch numbers, maybe not the most accurate thing, but they are a good thing to look at when we are talking about current hype. Because if a streamer is playing something and they got 30,000 people watching, well, that can tell you right there that if a streamer's playing it and people are fine with like watching the game, then they're definitely going to be playing the game as well. And it's a sign of an active fan base for sure. But like what we were like what I was talking about earlier was like Jynxi revived Rainbow Six Siege. Like he fully revived it, and that's because he started streaming it, and because it finally got an active viewer base rather than just a player base. Because an active player base can mean a lot, but a viewer base means so much more. Because then people are talking about it with their friends. Then people are playing it with their friends. They're paying for it again. They're buying new DLCs because their friends are buying new DLCs. There's a social impact with it. There's a FOMO with it that can't be touched by just a player count. And that's what I'm kind of talking about and illustrating, like trying to talk to you about, is that like Helldivers has dropped off a cliff in streaming. I genuinely just looked at it and it was like 30,000 concurrents. When I looked at it last, it was literally over 200,000, which was just a week ago. So that's dropped under a fourth of what it was, which means that people are already not playing it. And I think that honestly, it's not a problem with the games. I'm not insulting the games whatsoever. I'm insulting our minds as humans and how we are getting impacted and programmed to do things like this and not care about games as long anymore. And eventually going back to, the 1 month long spree where you play in Minecraft.
Right.
And the 1 month long spree when you grind out Fortnite Season OG. You know what I'm saying? Like they bring back the original stuff and then people are interested for a month and then they're never interested again. And that's the same thing with like gimmick type games. It garners numbers.
They get the money. The gaming industry has become very much about money. Is what it has become more than anything. That's why you see a new title every single you see a new FIFA title every single year. That's why you see Call of Duty release the same or worse game every year. I mean, it's just kind of insane. In they don't put as much effort and not nearly as much effort into it as it used to be, because before it was an art form. Before it was an art form we enjoyed.
And now companies have gotten
a multitude of reasons.
Yeah, that's sort of why gaming's suffering right now. That's a big issue.
The Fortniteization.
It's also evolving. Companies are jumping on trends instead of wanting to make a unique. You can say the same thing about so many other things. Like movies are suffering from the same thing.
Yeah, shortest attention spans, and the entertainment as a whole is.
Yeah,
it's really ruining art.
It sucks, but the game's fun though. I recommend Helldivers too to anyone.
Oh yeah, great game.
Yeah, for sure, Cyril,
you
haven't played it yet.
I haven't. Oh, I've watched clips on it, enough on it. Yeah. But in the same wind, the finals. I want to say the finals is an amazing game as well.
Oh,
it's a really good game. It's kind of funny though that like it's upsetting because we see so many of these games died. Splitgate was a great game. Splitgate was a great game.
Dude, honestly, we need to play Splitgate soon, bro.
Yeah.
We can for the stream. I think like that also had to do with what the company's decisions were, why that game failed. But like you know what I mean. It was a mix of both.
It was a mixed bag. It always is a mixed bag.
So, very upsetting.
And it's also, you got on the YouTube or Twitch internet sides of like streaming sides of things, I guess. You also got creators that is jumping back and forth, and they kind of bring their fan bases to those games, which I think is what you are trying to say.
With Jynxi and stuff.
Yeah, they're like bringing popularity back to those games. You said Rainbow Six Siege. I'm sorry, I hate Rainbow Six Siege so much.
Oh, I love that game. I used to love it.
I do not enjoy that game at all.
I liked it during Prime, but I don't really care for it now.
But yeah.
What the?
The side I was kind of coming from for gaming at least is that it's depending on how fun the game is, and honestly, I don't enjoy that many modern games, which is why you see me playing like very old games like Team Fortress or Halo or something. But like games like Helldivers 2 will come around. That's where I'm sort of coming from. Is you got those games that are just fun with your friends or on your own,
Oh yeah, that
it's
can kind of like bring you out of that circle.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's gonna fade though because of the gimmick. Not that the gimmick is anything bad, but I think people will stop playing Helldivers within the next 2 months. It won't have the active player base that it does.
But I want to add something too. Is that the thing is though is that the difference is that for a lot of these games too also is that like the gameplay relies also on the relevance of the game for some of these games.
Absolutely.
Since they're big multiplayer games, the gameplay relies on, you know, how many people are playing and what's meta and all sorts of like that. And so that's not gonna be the same like when it's an indie game that blows up, like Minecraft, for example. Minecraft has the chance to flourish because it doesn't get these it doesn't need to have a massive player base for
it just needs to be you and your boys.
It does. It just needs to be you and exactly. It just needs to be you and your friends. So you can pick up an indie game with your friends easily and be able to do something like that. But with a game like, you know, Helldivers, Splitgate, the finals, it's very much it's like it relies on if other people are playing it, and also it's like with an online game where you're like ranking and stuff. It's like, well, what does my rank matter when there's no one else to compare it to if the game isn't relevant? And so if you're looking at it from a competitive standpoint, that's my take on that.
I don't. No, I see what you're saying. I agree with that. I wouldn't say Helldivers has a. Does Helldivers have a competitive? Would you say
it's not out long enough?
Would you think there's?
It'll get a speedrunning community, hardcore. I know that, bro.
Okay, yeah.
It'll definitely get a speedrunning community.
I don't know. I don't really care about ranks in games, but that's sorry.
I always loved competitive.
It's just a matter of competitive. Yeah, it's just a matter of your competitive. What is it called? Competitive spirit,
drive,
I guess.
Yeah.
Competitive drive, competitive spirit, whatever you'd like to call it. I mean, ultimately, it's just a matter of your competitive spirit. If you're competitive, then you'll like competitive games. If you don't, then you're probably not gonna like it. 100%. I also think that playing sports has a huge role in that. I think if depending on how you played sports as a child, depends highly on that.
How competitive you
like
are.
If you excelled in sports as a child, I think you're automatically way more competitive. And if you didn't excel in sports as a child, I think it naturally makes you less competitive, just because you just decided you didn't care about it and you didn't like try as hard, you know. I think there's not a bad thing about either.
I played sports. I played a fair amount of sports, and I was pretty good actually. And I just still wasn't that. I didn't really care about the competition side of it.
I would say I am now, but I wasn't when I was a kid. I think that. So I don't think I fully agree with your point, because when I play like if I'm playing basketball with my friends, I'm competitive. But but back then I just didn't care, and it's just because I was a dumb kid. And so like.
A dumb kid. That's crazy.
And so to me, it's just like I don't think that like I didn't excel in sports, but it's not because I didn't try. Because when I was a kid, I tried, and I would go to all the practices. I would practice every week and whatever. But I don't feel like that's fully. But I do think there's a correlation, Brody. I think there's a bit of a correlation between kids who were. I've noticed that like kids who are really into that do really find that competitive sphere, but I don't think everyone who finds that competitive sphere is going to be in that demographic.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I think that's honestly a good spot to wrap it up, though. I think we kind of talked about everything we needed to talk about, and I think it was honestly a great podcast. We got really deep into some game news, which I like to talk about. But anyways, guys, you guys have an awesome day. Make sure to dislike the video, and I'll see you B-dubs later.